Good evening, Vile community. It's David Michael. How you doing? It's a Saturday night, and you have to excuse me. I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm going to try to make this as tight as possible and as quick as possible. But I needed to talk to you about a garage sale I went to today, and this wasn't any ordinary garage sale. This was a vinyl-only garage sale from a member of the YouTube vinyl community that I'm on, and it just so happens this guy lives in the same city as me. His name is Dan Keene, and I'll talk about his YouTube channel at the very end because I recommend that you go and see his videos. So Dan, I know from the record fairs in their city, in Edmonton and Calgary and whatnot. We both are vendors at those fairs, and we see each other at sales, vinyl sales and whatnot, and he's an awesome guy. So I had heard secondhand through someone I knew that he was having this sale, and I contacted him, and he kind of gave me a rundown of what he was going to have. And from knowing what he normally has at record fairs, I know this was going to be an awesome sale, and I couldn't miss it. And then as of last night, it looked like I was going to have to miss it because of work obligations. So, early this morning, I get a text from my wife, "When are we going to this garage sale?" How awesome is that? So I was, out of respect to my work and to my wife, I wasn't going to skip out on work, and I was sadly going to miss this sale. But she said, "Let's go." And okay, so I snaked out of work. And I went to pick up my wife, and we were off to Dan's house. It was a 10 a.m. start for his vinyl and garage sale. And the reason why I bring my wife to these kind of things is that she prevents me from spending all of our money. So if you think I'm whipped, you're absolutely right. And God bless her, because if you have a woman who encourages you to go to these things and puts up with your vinyl spending habits, hang on to her. I'm hanging on to my wife very tightly. So I have to give a thanks to her because she kind of gave me the kick in the ass to kind of go down there. So I showed up a bit late. All the local heavy hitters were there in the city, as per normal. So before I show you these, if you're wondering in your head at all, well, that's pretty awesome, but are they good condition? This is a vinyl-only garage sale by a member of a vinyl community. You know his stuff is going to be tops, because at these kind of sales you're going to have every anal fucker in town with their microscopes inspecting Sheena Easton albums for any flaws. That's kind of how it goes. So Dan's stuff is top notch. I've bought from him before at record fairs. So let's get right into this, what I found. And basically when I got there, he handed me a handful of albums on top of what I picked out already, and he said, "You gotta have these, they're awesome." And when Dan talks, I listen. So let's start this off with Frigid Pink Defrosted. Let's go this side. This is a London Parrot pressing. I was torn between two Frigid Pink albums. I couldn't afford both of them. And by the way, I will say Dan had his stuff really amazingly priced. That's another thing about this sale is Dan is not in any way a rip-off artist. He charges more than fair prices for his vinyl. So this stuff wasn't dollar stuff, but it was well below market value. So, and then Dan gave me a deal on top of everything. So that kind of shows you the kind of character the guy has. But Frigid Pink Defrosted. Dan recommended this one over the one I had pulled, and I don't remember the one I had pulled originally, but Dan says, get this one, and this is what we're listening to now, and I love it. So Dan's right again. This is an upgrade copy of something I have, but the copy I have has been well played since I was a kid. This is an original Blue Label Casablanca pressing with the embossed sleeve of Kiss Dressed to Kill. I have been on the hunt for an upgrade copy for a long time. My copy I've had for 25 years, so it's been played. And these covers with the embossed sleeves, they tend to get a little bit worn, as maybe Kiss fans know. But so I've been on the lookout for a decent upgrade, and this is an upgrade enough. Blue Casablanca label. This is an upgrade enough to make me smile. So that was a must-have today. I think this is one of those albums Dan handed to me and said, you gotta have this. Atomic Rooster, Death Walks Behind You. So I can get some glare. Sorry, it's nighttime, by the way, so the lighting isn't as professional as I normally do it. So this is an original Elektra label pressing. And Atomic Rooster, I do know. I've never had this album on vinyl, and I don't recall. I'm sure I've heard this album in the past. I can't recall it. So once again, another awesome find from that garage sale. Camel Mood Madness, sorry. This is one I found in his many boxes that he was selling for an incredibly good price. This is a nice, is it Janus or Janus label? I always say Janus label pressing. Mood Madness by Camel. Another album, I think I have this CD, I've never had it on vinyl. Oh, I was pretty happy about this one. The Police, Zenyatta Mandetta. It's the audiophile pressing. And it's in insanely good condition, and I think Dan had a $5 on it. That's it. And whenever I see this A&M audiophile series and they're decent titles, I pick them up. Although they're probably up to today's standards, and they were good for back then, I still find them very, very nice pressings. This is one of those ones Dan handed me, and I took without any question. Clear Light. One of those albums, I've not heard this yet. I'm sure some of you out there might know this album. I mean, look at the cover. This can't be anything other than awesome. So, Clear Light. This is, I think maybe the last of the albums that he handed me and said I had to have. Black Pearl on Atlantic. This is an original pressing from 1969, US pressing. Like I said, I have not heard this one either, but I'm looking forward to spinning all these, obviously. This is a definite upgrade copy for me. Tears for Fears, The Seeds of Love. $2. Perfect condition. This is another album I have that's been played to death. This is one that I think we're coming up. This is the end of the garage sale finds I had today. This is one of those ones, and if you watch my other videos, I've talked about jazz, so I'll shut the hell up. You know, I'm kind of going all in now. Ornette Coleman, Free Jazz, a collective improvisation. There you go. I picked this up and I was thinking about putting it back, and Dan said, nope, you gotta have this album, it's great. So, I love the old Retro Atlantic label. So, and the price was right. I wasn't going to say no to that one. So, that was the extent of the garage sale finds I had at the garage sale today, and that's probably the second garage sale I've been to in the last few months that have been like this. I think this one was a little bit more steered toward music I liked. It wasn't kind of all over the place. Although he had a really good selection of all genres. He had it very nicely. It was prog, and then there was rock, and then he had singles, and it was very well classified. So kudos to you, Dan. That was an amazing day today, and I'm glad I skipped work. And if my wife is watching, you're the best for even suggesting that I do this today. So after I left Dan's house, I stopped by a thrift store on the way home, and on the way there I found the Albion Dance Band on Harvest, The Prospect Before Us. Like I said, on Harvest. A lot of you might know them. It's just the Albion Band, and I think they have a few other names. And I found this album today as well at the same thrift store. And you might know this album straight off. I didn't. I bought it on a total whim, because any album cover that looks like this is The Changing Scene. This is an original pressing. And you look at this and like what is this? Is it Christian? Is it gospel? Is it barbershop? Is it just whacked out? Like, I don't know what the hell this was. And then I brought it home, and it's an incredibly good album. This cover is nothing like the music at all. It's there's a lot of fuzzed out songs. There's a song "Sit Down Lorraine" that has an insane fuzz bass intro. Go to YouTube and look and listen to samples of this album. You would not believe this is the cover for an album like that. So that and the Albion Dance Band was $1 today. So this was one of those cases where a blind buy paid off. I was totally blown away. And the only other find I'll show you was one that I'm only going to show it to you now because I found it yesterday. And it's been something I've been after for a long time. I think maybe the only Scorpions album I was missing on vinyl was Scorpions' Crazy World. This is a German pressing on Mercury. And lo and behold, I found this. And it's one of those albums I've been meaning to buy on eBay because you never see this locally. And there you go. So I want to get back to the gentleman Dan Keane. Sorry. How about I take a drink? So I'm going to show you, this is Dan's YouTube channel. Dots and Loops Vinyl Records. Professional sign, eh? So let me hold that one more time. Dots and Loops Vinyl Records. Dan, he has a wide range of knowledge to psych, prog. I mean, he knows hip hop. He knows everything. Jazz. What kind of gravitated towards me watching his videos is he's local. He's someone I see at record fairs, and he has an incredible knowledge for psych. And there's another member on the YouTube vinyl community, James Val, who is really into prog, and I learn a lot. I mean, as far as knowledge of psych and prog goes, I would conservatively say my knowledge is 6 to 7 out of 10. These guys, respectively, are 10 out of 10s for their knowledge. It's their videos, or Dan's videos, and what James posts on the YouTube vinyl community. When they post something, I pay attention. And Dan's video, if you scroll through his videos, he has one dedicated to psych. And that video I've watched a few times because when I'm looking for something that, in the psych genre, I might watch his video and see what he's recommending. Like I said, and on top of it, he's a super nice guy. He's not pretentious. There's a lot of guys with knowledge who have the kind of knowledge and they're kind of dicks. Dan is a super nice guy. And so I grabbed all those records today, and he gave me an insane discount. And it kind of shows you those guys in the vinyl community, when you find them, you really want to help them along and maybe promote their YouTube channel or just give them props. So Dan Keane at Dots and Loops Vinyl Records. I've told him a couple times now, I've learned a lot from his videos. I really enjoy his videos. He's well spoken. His videos are easy to understand. They're not pretentious. And I actually learn a lot. And it's all stuff that's really accessible, even though it's psych and some of it's really obscure psych. It's all stuff that's pretty accessible. He's not showing you super obscure jazz from the 50s that 5 copies exist in the world. It's very accessible stuff. You can, and I've learned a lot from him. So that was the extent of my garage sale finds and the couple finds I had after the fact at thrift stores. So one more time, I want to give a shout out to Dan Keane at Dots and Loops Vinyl Records. Please visit his YouTube channel. And that was the extent of my finds today, like I said. So if you're watching this, have a great night, have a great week, and I'll see you later in the week. Take care.